Okay, today's first keyword in part two of my keyword discrepancy email series is mocha latte. We're first going to be searching all locations, so globally, for this keyword in key search, and we notice it's about 18,000, which is a lot, right? But know that since most of us are in the US, and if you're not, try to select what country you are located in before you hit search again to get that second comparison. Because if globally it's super high and US it's super low, or whatever country you're residing in, then it may not be the best idea to target it, because we have to think about where most of our readers are coming from. So it depends on where you're located and where your users are located as well. So mocha latte in US volume is about 8,000. Still a lot, still a great keyword to target based on your, authority and such. I always like to compare in Ahrefs as well. So we're gonna compare the same keyword and really focus in on here's the volume. Now this is global here, here's US here. So it's going to be similar, but not exact. As I mentioned in the course, this is where I like to spend a lot of my focus or energy, is the traffic potential, which shows the average, and it's very approximate, but the average traffic that you may expect to get if you're in the number one position. Now, fortunately, we have somebody that we know is number one position. So Christina is in the number one position for this recipe, and that's her URL. And she told me she's getting about 1,500 monthly visits from this keyword, which really matches up with this potential that Ahrefs is saying. It is not about 28%, which is that percentage that I say. Make sure you take just that 28% of total traffic if you are in the first position. So always multiply that total by 0.28. And technically, if we were to multiply this US traffic, which is about 6,000 by 2.8, or 0.28, you're going to get about 1.6 thousand, which is just about what she's receiving. Okay. So what I've seen after analyzing lots of analytics and keyword positions that you guys have brought to me, it seems that it's more accurate to take that 28% click-through rate if you're in the first position of that total traffic from your country. In this case, it's the United States. If we were going to take 28% of the global volume, we could maybe expect more, and it seems like there would be more of a discrepancy, but we're going to consider or take into consideration this volume more so, since we're targeting more so US users, and the results that we're seeing is more likely going to be those searching from the United States. So this one seems like a discrepancy at first, but according to these numbers, even if we take 30%, 28, 30% of this, it's still not too off. It's not that crazy of a discrepancy, not as much as my ugly cake, as I mentioned before. Of course, there are other keywords and variations to consider as well. But that's, we want to look at the main keyword that we're targeting. And in this case, there's not that many different variations, as we can see for this post. The next keyword was actually also sent by Christina, and it's apple pie moonshine. So I'm in all locations here, and it's about 22,000. This keyword below it, apple pie moonshine recipe, is about 12,000. So collectively, we have 34,000. So that's interesting numbers, and she is getting about 7.5 thousand a month. So if we do 34 times 0.28, she should be getting more around 10,000 if we take about 28% of that total. But remember, we want to also approximate and really focus in on US expected US traffic, which still is a lot. So here we have 18 plus about 10. So that's about 28,000 2,000 monthly searches. And if we take 0.28% of that, that's about 7,000. And if she's getting about 7.5, that's pretty on hitting it on the head with the approximate expected visitors. I also like to look at Ahrefs here, and you can see Ahrefs is a little off here, saying that the traffic potential is 14,000. She's getting about half of that, a little more than half. So that's something that's interesting, because Ahrefs is usually traffic potential more spot on. So this is more elevated than I like to see. I always like to Google the keyword as well, and not to my surprise, but as I expected, there is a product as well that comes up in the results. So this is why you can see recipe being something that is, something we should really focus in on typing in when we're searching. So if I put recipe, oh, look, the traffic potential is much more accurate and much more lining up with what Christina is actually getting. So be careful with those that can be products or purchased. And when you do your research, type in the word recipe into Google to make sure that that's what you're getting, as well as in key search to make sure that the results are still, the volume is still high enough for you with the word recipe next to it. And then you can go on with making your final decision.